What's up, my know-it-alls? Well, that's right, it is Trek Talk Tuesdays. Today we're going to talk about two major topics happening in the world of Star Trek today. Actually, just one is major. The other one is just something I'm actually interested in just kind of taking a look back at. So, the very first one is we're going to look at Star Trek Strange New Worlds, both last week's episode, Children of the Comet, but we're also going to look forward to this week's episode, which is The Ghosts of Illyria. And I'm very excited to look forward. They put out some sneak peek material. They also put out a trailer, and so we're going to watch the trailer together and just talk a little bit about that in just a second. But also, second, it's the anniversary of Star Trek Into Darkness. Star Trek Into Darkness was the sequel to the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek requel series of movies. It's the one that starred Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, and whatnot, Simon Pegg and others, among others. And it did some interesting things. So yeah, stick around. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at that. Welcome to Trek Talk Tuesdays. The very first thing we're going to talk about this week on Trek Talk Tuesdays is, of course, Star Trek Strange New Worlds. So last week we saw the episode Children of the Comet. It's one of those episodes that's so very, very Star Trek, and by that I mean... So I saw some criticisms of people online who said that, hey, what's going on? How come, all the old episodes only ever started with the captain doing the narration and blah, 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 blah. Guys, really? I mean, it's weak sauce, man. Weak sauce. But anyway, I didn't mind it. I liked it. I think it sets a tone for sure. I feel like when we look at the episode for the week, one of the things that's going to come up is that these are very much character-driven stories, which we always had. Season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation, actually seasons probably 1 through 3, of Star Trek The Next Generation gave us literal deep dives into every individual character, what they're going through, their psyche, all their stuff. So this episode focused on Uhura, specifically her journey as a cadet, and not only as a cadet, but as a young kind of a protege who's brilliant in a specific field, who's kind of asking the question, I really like alien languages, but why do I have to why do I have to join Starfleet and put myself in danger to study alien languages? And she's absolutely right. You don't have to do that. Now, if you want to be the first to study an alien language, it's a whole different story. So the character is very much, it's a great scene, and by now you should have seen it. So spoilers for Children of the Comet, episode 2 of Strange New Worlds. But you see the scene where Ortega does that whole hazing thing, and I just love how Anson Mount kind of steps to the thing. He's like, "Hey, what's going on, everybody?"
General Ortega, Cadet Uhura, welcome. Dress uniform, huh? Grab a drink. I got to deal with the ribs.
It's awesome because I'm like, okay, I relate to that. Like, I connected on that level because, I get it. I just totally get it. So this is actually kind of also starting a new pattern of events for the characters. So what I mean by that is I feel like, so when we start to move forward, and we'll get into that in just a second in our sneak peek discussion for the Ghosts of Illyria, but when you start to look forward, there's going to be an episode that you can clearly see Una, or number one, is the focus of, and that's this next one. So I think that as we're going through the storylines, as we're going through the various plot devices that are building up to a certain thing, I think what we're going to find is that there's awful lot of material that is specific to the characters, because this is how you learn who characters are. Now, I've also seen people complain about episode number. Why are they only doing this many episodes? I don't understand. Why don't we have 20 some odd episodes? Okay, well, several factors go into that. The first is it's almost impossible to do the shows on the level that you want to do them, the caliber that they deserve, because that's really what I feel like this is about. The level that they deserve on a budget that you were doing them on. You were doing the original series episodes for I want to say they were close to either $500,000 an episode or not, and later on and went up as the series progressed. I might have even started at like 375 and then continued going upward. And nowadays but that was for like 26 episodes in a season. And then you had filler episodes and whatnot. And when you're doing episodic television, that's fine. There's no issue with there. But I feel like if you're trying to give the season an arc of any kind, it can be very difficult to carry 26 episodes without having those filler episodes that feel like filler episodes. So when you get into Star Trek Strange New Worlds, we're getting cinematic quality. For me, you could string any 2 or 3 of these episodes together and make a movie of some kind. That's the quality to which we're getting this series, and that's a wonderful. And I'm down. I'm so excited. Seeing Star Trek presented at this level is I'm thrilled by it. I really am. It's something I could have never imagined as a kid. So yeah, it's super exciting. And so let's take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first little sneak peek here at Strange New Worlds episode 3. This is the first time I'm watching this trailer with you guys, so I've only read a short synopsis, but I'd like to actually see the trailer. So here we go. We're gonna watch it together.
We have a situation. Landing party members are showing symptoms of some kind of contamination.
What are you doing?
They're being attracted to light.
Computer and simulation.
What did you do that for?
I want to feel the radiance on my skin.
It's 1,000 degrees. It'll kill you. It's only a matter of time before we all become infected.
Does that thing have a setting for stun?
I'm arming us with knowledge.
That's awesome. I think I love the way they've been doing Spock lately. But wow. A lot happened there. Okay, so let me kind of take this piece by piece here for a second. Let's go ahead and replay this.
We have a situation. Landing
Okay, so there's Una.
party members are showing symptoms of some kind of contamination.
So this guy clearly he took off one of the light covers that adjusts so the lighting in the area, and he's sort of in the light of that moment. Wow, very interesting.
What are you doing?
They're being attracted to light.
Computer and simulation.
What did you do that for?
Oh, dude. When wow. If you look at it, when he says, "What do you do that for?" he's burned. So they're clearly exposing themselves to unhealthy levels of sun rays. That's amazing. And but the guy was angry.
I want to feel the radiance on my skin.
It's 1,000 degrees.
Because he's blind, so of course.
It'll kill you. It's only a matter of time before we all become infected.
Does that thing have a setting for stun?
And then of course,
Arming us with knowledge.
then the Spock joke, yeah. Okay, so yeah, man, that's awesome. I can't wait for that episode. It looks amazing. So let's unpack that real quick. This has very much vibes of The Naked Time and The Naked Now. That's an original series TOS episode and a Next Generation episode. Specifically, there's some sort of a thing that infects the crew, makes them start feeling very, very amorous toward each other and kind of party, almost drunk. And Next Generation handled it differently than original series, and actually like the Next Generation version. I think it was a nice little twist. They weren't able to just use the cure from the previous ship from the Enterprise. They had to actually come up with some variation on it for themselves, which I thought was great. So this feels very much like that. They get exposed to something, probably on a planet of some kind. I know some of the stills that have come out shows an away team. It's that nice shot with the jackets, the gray jackets, and so I'm interested to see where they go. I'm interested to see how they handle this idea, and it looks almost like, because Una number one is it's like what I read. She's sort of the focus, and it looks like she may be one of the last ones. I'm willing to bet that shot where she's like looking up and like it looks like fiery burn effect, almost like the Iron Man 3 effect they were using with the that thing they were using on themselves, and I bet you that's toward the end. when she's really close to solving the thing, and then all of a sudden she gets infected, and it's like, oh no, I'm not going to have time, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so I like it. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, man, comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to have a conversation and see what your thoughts are for the upcoming episode, because I want to see if we're all right or not. So let me know your thoughts below, so we could go ahead and have that conversation. So next, we're going to talk, going into the next part of today's Trek Talk Tuesday, which is going to be a little bit shorter, only because it's kind of a punchier episode. By that, I just mean I have some stuff I just want to talk about, and so that's kind of really what this is about. But hey, man, comment in the comment section. I absolutely would love to have more further, deeper conversations with you guys, engaging, so to speak. So let's talk about the anniversary of Star Trek Into Darkness.
There's greatness in you, but there's not an ounce of humility. You think that you can't make mistakes, but there's gonna come a moment when you realize you're wrong about that. And you're gonna get yourself and everyone under your command killed. You think you're safe. You are not. Is there anything you would not do for your family?
Okay, so let me give you my overall thoughts about the movie. I remember when I heard the sequel was coming out and I heard Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be the quote-unquote antagonist in this. I never once saw the twist. I really didn't see the twist coming. Later on, after the fact, I read some reviews and found some things out and heard that a lot of other people had thought that was probably going to be the thing. And I know a lot of people in the community did. I personally was very much like, oh, wow, let's see what this is going to be all about. And seeing, for me, I had actually been very excited by the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie. That was the Star Trek film from 2009, that kind of requel series. For those of you playing at home, there was legal reasons that they had to make Star Trek specifically that way. And by that I mean Paramount and Viacom had split. And since then they've now rejoined. But Viacom had split. So there was Viacom, the parent company. There was CBS, and then there was Paramount. Everyone had a piece of what this thing was. But due to how some contracts were written, they only had access to their particular piece of that pie, and never the twain could meet. There were some issues at the time with people trying to, that only original series and like Next Generation and things like that, stuff that existed, only those toys and different things like that for merchandising were doing good and whatnot. But either way, the part that I think a lot of people fell into was a whole new crew that was reimagining the original series people. Now, I'm going to circle back to that in a second. For years, as fans, we've known that after Gene Roddenberry's original Star Trek series, he had been pitching a Phase 2. And Phase 2 would have essentially taken a lot of the thoughts and ideas that they were putting toward the films, a lot of that creative sensibility, a lot of the design work, a lot of the advances in technology and whatnot for CGI and visual effects and whatnot, and they were going to make it very much that. eventually the network was like, we can't really afford it. This is not what you're looking for, because they weren't doing $1 million episodes back then, or $10 million episodes like they are today. And so what ended up happening was you got the motion pictures, you got those movies. When you eventually come to, and even the Next Generation wasn't. I read somebody posted a story with a newspaper clipping. It shows the Next Generation and the Next Generation cast and crew and whatnot, and it shows what New Trek was like back then. And New Trek was basically the Next Generation, because everyone was like, oh, how can you have Star Trek without the original crew and this and that? It's hilarious to see how quickly those things got ingratiated into people's lives, and how fast we forget as fans. So anyway, so then you come. So this was our first attempt. This is the first we ever got to see someone representing characters we knew and loved, but it wasn't the original actors who played them. Zachary Quinto was doing Spock, and he was channeling Leonard Nimoy, but he was not doing a Leonard Nimoy impression. And I think that that's a very important distinction. Everybody sometimes wants to think that, Tuvok was just a black version of Spock, and T'Pol was just a black or a female version of Spock. And the truth is, no, Vulcans have a way about them and whatnot. And so Zachary Quinto was essentially channeling a Vulcan. There were some Spock mannerisms he adopted, which is great, and it really helped. So then you shift to this movie, and we are clearly, you get this look and taste of James T. Kirk and the crew and whatnot in the middle of a mission, flat out, I say superhero, that's literally what I was going to say, but a movie that starts with them having to save a species, and then he gets in trouble for it, and he gets the Enterprise taken from him, and in like a day or two later, he's back in command of the Enterprise because of a thing that happened. It wasn't until Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto are in front of RoboCop, Sorry, the actor who played RoboCop, he plays Admiral Marcus and whatnot. And I can't remember his name right this second. And so he he sends him off on a mission, and you come to find out the minute he said that this guy isn't someone you know, or blah blah blah. The minute he started going into some of the conversations, so I'm sitting in the theater and the Admiral's talking to Kirk, and he starts going into some of the hemming and hawing about who Harrison is. I was like, no. And then you get that moment that they did kind of telegraph. The minute that dude is the minute they're on the Klingon planet, and they're fighting the Klingons, and you see Harrison, whatever, he's just wrecking shop on the Klingons. I'm like, that don't look like no normal dude. Who do I know? That dude looks superhuman. And I'm like, oh no, don't even tell me. And then sure enough, once you got I already was super suspicious. And then you get the scene in the brig where essentially they're like, who are you? And he's like, my name is Khan. I was like, really? Is that your name? Is that who you are? Because you're sure as heck you don't look like a Spanish man with his chest all bared. Hello, Captain. I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. I'm kidding. And so you get this whole. I rolled with that punch quick. I was like, okay. This is okay.
This is ridiculous. Okay, I'll go.
Okay, this is Spock and Kirk and Khan, apparently. Then you get that one moment that's kind of felt very contrived where Spock is suddenly like calling old Spock, and he's like, I know I promised never to ask you any questions, but I need to know some spoilers. And old Spock's like, Khan is one of the most dangerous men I have ever faced, and blah blah blah, don't trust him, and this and that. Oh yeah, it's good. And I'm just like, okay, all right. So, seeing that whole, and then you get to the part where they swap the dialogue from Wrath of Khan. because Kirk has to go down. And I, again, completely saw this telegraphed and was like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Because you got to remember, Wrath of Khan lives in a special place in a lot of Star Trek fans' hearts. It's connected very much with, it's Wrath of Khan, goes right into, and it's the trilogy of Star Trek, if you will. Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home. 3 movies that live hand in hand within the Star Trek universe episodically. So those 3, you can literally show somebody those 3 movies and they would be like, oh, got it. Star Trek, I got it. The original series, this is their trilogy of movies. Totally they'd understand because it's got the Spock arc that goes through the whole thing. So yeah, it's one of those things that I liked when I saw the movie, but at the same time, I understood the problematic nature of it. But I'm the same guy then that I am today, which is I was like, but it's Star Trek in the movies and it looks good and I'm happy and excited about it. Okay, I could do this. Because you got to remember, for a lot of people, that was their con. Just like for a lot of people, Jar Jar Binks was their first Ewok. What I'm saying is, sometimes the thing you get is not as is in our minds, because we saw the old stuff, isn't as good as whatever. But at the same time, you gotta remember, for someone else, this was their first, and it wasn't a bad first. And if this is the gateway drug that gets them into Star Trek, come on, kids, what have I got for you? Well, let me show you a little something right here. Okay, I got this for you. Shh, shh, shh. Just take a little. It's okay. Just take a little bit. It's all right. All right. It's like, or even better, it's like you're literally going like, I've got Star Trek. You're going to love it. Just a little hit. Just a little bit. And when you're done with this candy of the 2009 version that looks beautiful and is glossy and all that stuff, I got some TOS, TNG, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, Enterprise, all this stuff. And then, oh, but I live all this, blah, blah, blah. Here's Discovery. And now that you've seen Next Gen, here's Picard. My point is, all this stuff lives in this wonderful, happy family world that is Star Trek. So, yeah, man, I've been excited about Star Trek for years and years and years. So getting an opportunity just to kind of geek out about it like a fanboy like you guys on Tuesdays is really my hit. Like, seriously, this gets me through the week in a way that I can't even explain. So, yeah, man, comment below. Let me know what you guys thought of specifically Star Trek Into Darkness. I'd love to hear your take on it. So yeah, man, this has been, I love it. That was awesome, absolutely awesome. Okay, man, there you go. Now you know, and if knowing is half the battle, you're halfway to being a know-it-all yourself. So yeah, comment below. I'd love to know everything you guys thought about today's Trek Talk Tuesday. Let's talk, man. That's what it's all about. Visit me on social media, of course. Like the video. It always helps me in the algorithms. It's how we get the man and let other people know about cool stuff. Also, if you want, share the show. I would love it. I want to welcome every single person. By now, we're at 400 subscribers, and I am both blessed and humbled, so I'm not gonna get emotional, I promise. But hey man, I just want to be entertaining. I want to entertain you guys. I love talking Star Trek. I love talking pop culture and different things like that, and I definitely want to get into some more things like Marvel reviews and whatnot. But for right now, I'm really happy being home, and by home I mean here in Star Trek. Star Trek was my original fandom. I've said that before, and I will keep saying it. So yeah, man, I look forward to doing this again next week. But I will see you again on Thursday for Strange New Worlds. Let's go. Talk to you guys then. Never forget, everyone loves a know-it-all.